Yeah. It is time. You will not survive. Let's fucking do it.
What's up, everybody? This is the PlayStation Lifestyle Underground Podcast. We are an unofficial podcast of PlayStationLifestyle.net. I am Hugo Stiglitz. You can find me on PSN as Hugo Stiglitz _420. And I got two other guys with me today. You guys want to say hello?
Yeah, sure. I'm Steven Bitto. I'm the community manager for PlayStation Lifestyle. You can find me on the forums as Steven Bitto, and you can find me on PlayStation Network as TYLERxDURDEN.
And I'm Brian Mieszala. Somewhere in the comments, you can probably find me as Brian Mieszala. And anywhere you can play a game, I'm CloudStrife7.
Awesome. Lately, I've actually been playing a bit of Uncharted. Last week, I got the Platinum for Uncharted 1. I played through the campaign another time. Also playing through Uncharted 2. That's also what I've been playing a lot on the Vita with Remote Play. Also been playing Rocket League, Just Cause 3. I'm actually very close to the end of Just Cause 3. And I also did try the new Sky Fortress DLC, which is actually very cool. Then, of course, I've been playing a lot of racing games. Like, one of my favorite bands came out with a new album this week, so I've been playing a lot of racing games just because it's like racing games are really good for if you want to listen to something in the background while you're playing a game, because you don't really have to listen to, you know, anything really closely. So it's yeah, I've been playing a lot of Project Cars, some Drive Club, but that's pretty much it for me. What have you guys been playing lately?
I actually surprised my girlfriend with a puppy last weekend, so I've been had my hands full pretty much for the past 5 or 6 days. But I did still get in some time to play Shadow of Mordor, Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, and I also played through Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare for the first time.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Shadow of Mordor is pretty good, but it does show that year was kind of a down year for games. Like, it's good. Actually, it's pretty great, but it's not like Game of the Year quality. I don't feel, at least. You know,
actually, I thought it was Game of the Year that year.
No, that's what I'm saying. It was, and I'm saying like that's why it's kind of down here. If that's like the top of the top tier, you know, it says a lot for that year, because this past year I think the candidates were quite a bit better.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I agree. I don't think it was bad in 2014. Like, not as bad. I think I remember 2012 being worse for sure, but it just wasn't anything compared to 2013 or 2015. Like, 15 was incredible, so was 13. So
right.
I see what you're saying there.
To live up to. And then also with Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, it was pretty fun, but it does show like how dated that system has become, and how much better like the next one would be, especially after playing Grand Theft Auto 5. Like, they've come so far. There was this one weird glitch that I kept coming across, is that every time I would start a new mission, if I got into the mission, got into like the town, the area with all the zombies or people, so when I got into these towns, like the entire thing would not progress. Like, everything would keep going on, but nothing would progress. And the way you could tell that this was going to happen is none of the people, none of the NPCs had heads. All the zombies, all the regular people, no one had heads. So that's how, it was really frustrating. It happened all the time, and I'd just like kind of get the mission going, and I'd be like, you gotta be kidding me. Especially like if you're not in a good spot to fast travel and you have to ride that horse like all the way over to wherever you gotta go, and you get there and there's like damn it, I gotta restart. But it was pretty fun. Otherwise, I'm glad I played it finally. But yeah, hopefully I can wrap up Shadow of Mordor this weekend, and I don't know what's next for me. Maybe Far Cry 3. I picked that up as well. I never played that.
Oh, Nice. Yeah, I actually went back to Shadow of Mordor maybe like a couple weeks ago just to do the DLCs that I got. I need to do the same thing with Far Cry as well because it's like I got the season pass for both of those games, but like it took me a while to actually play the content, and I still have to on Far Cry. But
yeah, you'll have to let me know for Shadow of Mordor how it is because I got the Game of the Year edition, so I think it has all the DLC on it. So I'd like to check those out if they're worthwhile.
I thought that they were both cool. Like they're both definitely good. It's just like I hadn't played it in a while, so getting back into the swing of it was a little bit frustrating because especially the Bright Lord DLC is quite a bit more difficult than the beginning of the regular game, and it's just difficult in general because like you gain some powers, but you also lose others, and you can't take as many hits. So it's a little tough if you're not used to playing it, but you obviously should be if you don't wait too long to play it.
Right.
So I don't know. It could be just because I took quite a few months off, and I mean it's not a super difficult game, but it is one that like if you're not used to playing it, it can be a little frustrating because like you die and like you have to restart the whole thing, and it made me rage quit a couple times, but I eventually did finish it. But yeah, no, it's definitely good content. I thought I did the Lord of the Hunt and then the Bright Lord one, which I think are really the only main DLCs on that. I think that
right.
I think there's
only two main like large expansions on the disc.
Yeah, like there was some smaller like side content stuff that was cool too. But yeah, those are mainly the things that you wanna go after is the Bright Lord and stuff. Also, it does add like a bit to the story, at least Kellen Brimbore's story, because you actually play as him in the Bright Lord DLC. So yeah, but yeah, no, it's a good game, definitely. Red Dead Redemption's like the Undead Nightmare. I totally forgot about that because I have that, but I never played it after I played Red Dead. So yeah, you completely reminded me of that because I haven't thought about that.
I rarely
in a very
shop
long
at
time.
GameStop, and they had this 4 for $20 deal on used games, and I always kind of whenever they have a deal like that, I glance at the list, see if there's anything I need, and it just so happened that like on my list of games to buy for like last gen was Oblivion, the original Assassin's Creed, like stuff I want in my collection just on disc, and both of those were in it, but then also Far Cry 3 and Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare. And both of those are games I'd go back to the PS3 to play if I had them. And since they're only $5 each, I figured why not.
Yeah. Nah, sometimes it's hard to pass up a sale. That's why I got such a huge, gigantic backlog.
Right. I know. That's the only thing is that it just stacks onto the stuff I need to play already, but some of those, especially Far Cry 3, because I got Blood Dragon with PS Plus, and I've been wanting to play, but I also want to play Far Cry proper first, and then I'll play the expansion.
Yeah, Blood Dragon is actually really cool. I thought it was really good. It's shorter too, which I thought was actually kind of good because I don't know. Sometimes open world games can be a little longer than they need to be. Like
yeah, a little daunting with the side stuff.
Yeah.
Moving on.
I mean, even just the main story sometimes will take you 20, 30 hours. Like it has, I mean, in most of the games I've been playing lately, like Just Cause and yeah. But is that it for you? Brian,
yeah,
you wanna?
that's it.
Brian, what have you been playing lately?
What I've been playing. It's been a little while since we've done this, so I've been playing a decent number of things. I myself recently beat Just Cause.
Oh, nice.
Yep, great game. I don't know. I haven't gotten around to the Sky Fortress yet because there's just too many other things on my plate. So hopefully one day. But great game for running around, finding stuff, listening to podcasts. That's great for that. A little bit of once I beat that, I sort of busted out Darksiders 2 and chipped away a little bit more of that because I got the Death Innovative whatever edition on PS4 a couple months back, and it's good. I always like the Darksider games. Always scratches that Zelda itch when I have it, so it's good.
Damn. Everyone always compares it to Zelda. Like, I have no idea how. Like, I'll have to check it out because I think I do have it on, or I have Darksiders 2 on PS3. But like, yeah, I always hear it compared to Zelda. Is it gameplay wise or?
It's got the DNA of God of War meets the Zelda, and they had a baby,
really?
but it was kind of a stupid baby, if that makes any sense. But it's not quite as good as either of those in those respective categories, with the melee combat of a God of War, and the dungeon delving, puzzle solving, boss fighting after you get items to solve puzzles aspects of a Zelda game. But it has enough of both in its DNA, and especially Darksiders 2 throws in RPG elements with a skill tree and equipment and stuff like that that are okay. I almost preferred the original's more focused gameplay versus branching out with the RPG stuff. But I mean, both games are good. I like them. I like the series, and I like the kind of backstory of it. So definitely something I didn't mind buying again to support the franchise, hoping that they make another one. And I played that until Far Cry came out, and then I played a little bit of Far Cry, and then I played that until Twilight Princess came out, and I've been spending my time playing Twilight Princess, hopping in Far Cry every once in a while to just same thing, mute it, listen to some music or a podcast or something, and just check stuff, do random stuff. It's all in a made-up language and subtitled anyway, so yeah, that's good. And then, like I said, mostly Twilight Princess, since we'll get to it in a little bit anyway, but Zelda is one of my favorite games of all time, so I will throw money at Nintendo anytime a new Zelda comes out.
Yeah. Are you anticipating the next one to be pretty good?
I have no idea what to expect. I mean, everything that they've been saying about it is... It seems like they're going more towards a open world Western RPG type of game. I don't know how I feel about that. As long as it's Skyrim with Zelda dungeons still, and a semi-cohesive story like it's always been, great. But I just don't want them to go a little too overboard. Not everything needs to be an giant open world game. And Zelda is one of those properties that kind of probably would benefit from it, but not as long as it's not too crazy. We don't need a 200-hour Zelda. And other than that, just a little bit of The Division. Not too much just yet. I don't want to sink too much time into it. Other games.
Isn't Okami kind of like the 200-hour Zelda or something?
It's Zelda-like as well. I wouldn't call 200 hours. I don't think I spent anywhere near that amount of time on it.
Oh, no, I remember hearing it's long. I have it, and I just haven't. I've been afraid to get into it because of how long it is. But
it's pretty long. I wouldn't say 200 hours, but I mean, you can put as much time into it as you want. Obviously, it's like that with every game, but not that it's the all judge of how long a game is. Platinum, 20, 30 hours, something like that.
Really? I'm mainly only interested in just playing the main story. Heard it was a great game, and I know the HD version on PS3 is pretty awesome because it's actually, I heard that it was it's actually like 4K or 1440p downscaled to 1080p, which is pretty amazing because I mean there were only a couple 1080p native games on PS3 in general, but this one is actually above, downscaled to 1080, just, for better anti-aliasing, basically. So yeah, now that it's definitely, like, sometimes when you go back to PS3, it's like, you see how, like, dated some of the stuff looks, and it's just like, things aren't 1080p, and it just looks blurry, and kind of the frame rate as well, but that's not one of them. So it's like, that would be an easy game to go back to, basically.
The art style. It's why Wind Waker
that too, yeah, great,
so well.
Great art style as well.
Anything cell shaded holds up a lot better than anything that's polygonal.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's probably why Borderlands 2 on the Vita looks so good. Is it cell shading can be good. Same thing with that. I don't know if you guys have heard of that game, Cell Damage, but it's kind of like a car combat game. And it looks incredible on the Vita. And it's actually a pretty cool game. Like, it's a cross-buy, a lot of fun. It's definitely a good addition to the Vita. It's like, I do wish there was multiplayer in it, because it would lend itself to that. There is couch co-op multiplayer, but not. I mean, like online would be kind of cool. But yeah. So you've also been playing The Division, right?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm only level 8. Got 3 hours into it or so.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Played the beta. I like what I saw.
Online games like that are just too big of a time sink for me.
I mean, it's not quite Destiny Online. So far, I've done one mission with a person. I've spent about 10 minutes in the PvP zone, but I just basically run around New York doing missions by myself and occasionally going to, like, a safe house and seeing other people. But if it wasn't for that or opening my map and seeing my friends playing the game, I would never really know that it was online. It's one of those.
Cool.
I mean, it's one of those weird things that, like Hugo said in the comments somewhere, it would work offline, but I think the infrastructure of the game is based on being online for the sake of being able to play with people, and I think it's the type of game that probably plays better with people. It's kind of, it's a Tom Clancy game. It's got a Ghost Recon vibe to it in the way it plays and handles. Obviously, it's a little different. It's more RPG-ish, and you shoot a guy in the head, and usually it doesn't kill him in one shot. It just does 400 damage, and you have to do 3 of those to actually kill a guy. But outside of that less realistic Tom Clancy aspect, it's very Tom Clancy-like. So it makes sense that they built it around playing with people. But you could still play most of it entirely by yourself, which is how I've been doing it so far.
Yeah, I'm very anti always online. Like, I'm not entirely anti it, but like, I'm anti paying $60 for it, because, basically it's kind of like a rental, because you don't actually own it, because you can't play it whenever you want. Like, either the servers have to be up, not to mention when they decide to shut down the servers in a few years, whether it's because the game is old or because they have a sequel coming out that they want to force you to buy. Like, I just don't like the idea of that, and I've always kind of hated the idea of them forcing always online when it doesn't need to be there, just for the sake of, like, I don't even know if it's... I think it's for the sake of just, like, getting people to play multiplayer. It gets people more into the game, I think, like, and also more likely to buy DLC, for sure. Like, especially in Destiny's, because I think that's, like, the whole reason it's always online, because it's like they had a big, post-release content plan, like, as far as, like, expansions and stuff, and pretty much if you go on there with just the base game now, like, there's so many things you can't do, and you're so behind all the other players on there. As far as, like, your level and stuff, like, I don't even know if you can get to the level 40 or whatever with just the base game. So it's like, I think that is probably the motivation for making always online games, but I just don't like the idea of them taking away our rights, basically, with out asking if, like, basically doing it just because they want to. And so I'm very much like boycotting always online games, like at least at full price. Like I'll pay a lot less. I'll pay like $15-20 for games like that. Same thing with multiplayer only, I'd say. But I was actually surprised. Like they came out with some news about No Man's Sky. Unfortunately, it is going to be $60, but there's an offline mode, which is pretty surprising to me because they made it sound like that like the whole thing is built around the idea of being multiplayer and online. That it's a giant universe, but there's a bunch of different people connected to it. Naming planets and stuff. So it's like you see the traces of other players being in that area. Like although they might be super far away, but they actually made an offline mode apparently just because they know that there's going to be a lot of planets named after penises and stuff, because I guess that happened in their beta. So they literally made an offline mode, and that was one of the reasons. But I think that's pretty cool because it's like that means that basically No Man's Sky could be literally an infinite game. Instead of just the promise of it, when really eventually they would shut down the service. So not a fan of online games, but I thought it was pretty cool that No Man's Sky is not going to be one. It's going to have offline mode. What do you guys think about No Man's Sky? I mean, I don't know if you guys heard any of the news about it.
I read quite a bit about it. I'm pretty excited for it. I'm definitely going to get it. I'm wondering still if it's going to be PlayStation VR or not. I think we'll probably find that out on next, I think it's Tuesday is the big PlayStation VR conference.
Yep.
So I imagine they would announce it there. I'm a little they may actually have had this little news gauntlet here to get out everything except PlayStation VR. So all the questions about No Man's Sky are VR related after next week. Everything else we know, and now all people are going to want to know is VR questions. So that might be the reason why they did this. That kind of tempers my interest a little bit because I really want it to be PlayStation VR because I plan to get it day one. But either way I'll play it. But I'd be really excited if it's VR.
I have been expecting it to be a different game for a little while now, considering how non-answers we've gotten about the game for the last year and a half. So the longer we hearing real conclusive news, the more I figured it's probably going to be a retail game. So I wasn't shocked. I wasn't disappointed. I was already pretty prepared for it, and I pre-ordered my steelbook case for that as well. That whole little special edition looks really nice as well.
I just don't like it because it feels like we're paying all the money Sony put into marketing. Because, I mean, it's certainly not like the development costs that are making it $60. I think it's just that Sony put a lot of effort into the game, as far as marketing and just getting exclusive rights, that now they want to charge a full price because they know there's a lot of hype on it. And not a fan of that. I really think that games that the price should reflect how much money it costs to make. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm not a huge fan of the $60 price tag. Although the fact that it has an offline mode does soften the blow quite a bit, in my opinion. Because that means.
Would you have bought Rocket League if it was paid for?
What's that?
Would you have bought Rocket League if it was not a PlayStation Plus game?
Oh, absolutely. I had planned on it actually.
How much would you have spent on it if it was
actually,
like a $40 game?
I would have spent. I definitely would have spent $30. But actually, when it came out on PS Plus, I was actually kind of disappointed because I was like, you know what? It's I'd rather just pay them the money. I literally wanted to spend the $20 on the game instead of getting it through PlayStation Plus. But you actually don't have that option. If you have PlayStation Plus, when a game is free, you cannot buy it no matter what you do. Unless you use a different account. But yeah, no, Rocket League is definitely a game I would pay for sure. I'd pay $30. I would not pay $60 though. That's for sure.
It's one of those. I don't know. I feel like most people were a little upset because it was from the people who made, what was it, Danger Joe, which were $10, $15 downloadable games on PlayStation Network.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if no one knew who the studio was, what they had made before, then I think, it wouldn't have been as big of a surprise as it was that it was a $60 game. Just,
well,
I don't necessarily think it's marketing cost either. I just think the game became more and more ambitious and bigger as time went on. I mean, did we really think that there would be NPC trading and ship battles and everything when we first saw the trailer 2-3 years ago?
Well, not NPCs, but they did show battles very early on, and I mean, throughout the entire development, it was an indie game. It wasn't until Sony decided to publish it that it was not an indie game anymore. So it's indie game, indie budget. To me, so that's why it's not a AAA game basically. So it's I think that if it's not a AAA game, it shouldn't be full AAA price. But whatever, it's nothing I can do about it other than possibly wait to buy it. But I don't know, it looks good, so
I'll tell you all about it when it releases the day of.
Yeah.
Can't wait to play it. Yeah, I'm happy giving them my $65. I get 20% off on Amazon Prime. I don't know why people don't buy everything on Amazon Prime.
I used to until I found out about Best Buy's gamer membership.
Yeah, Best Buy is amazing.
It is.
Yeah, same thing, just Amazon's the same thing. You don't get the $10 to move over to the next one all the time, which on one hand sucks. On the other hand, I don't have as many abilities to just hop in the store these days anyway.
Well, actually, that's...
Best Buy is actually...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
That's actually why I use Best Buy, is because it also has release day delivery, except it's $30 every 2 years for the membership as opposed to $100 a year. I do have Prime in addition because I buy a lot of stuff off Amazon, and I kind of split it between me and my roommates. But for my actual games, I get it from Best Buy just because it has the rewards points, and it also they'll have some extra bonus deals for I think they did with Call of Duty and Fallout 4 where they give you an extra bunch of rewards points. So I ended up saving $20 or something when I bought the Talos Principle. So it's pretty cool to have the rewards points on top of getting 20% off for new games and release day delivery. Because the thing is with Amazon Prime, you only get 20% off if you pre-order the game. Best Buy gives you 20% off on every new game, no matter what. As long as it's a new copy and not a used copy, they give you 20% off, and you still get the free 2-day or release day shipping. So it's a great deal. I was really glad that Steve told me about it because I didn't know about it before until he told me so. But sorry, what were you gonna say, Steve?
No, I was just gonna basically say what you were saying.
Oh, okay. I had a feeling. Yeah, you can do delivery, which is my main way. I haven't gone to an actual store to get a game in a long time.
Amazon, though, if you use the store credit card, which we have, you get 5% back in bonus money.
Oh.
And that
nice.
applies to everything. So, or I don't exactly remember the exact terms, but just imagine that, but getting 5% back on everything you buy on Amazon, and then putting that money off towards games. I got the Division for $35.
Oh, that's cool.
Because of Amazon store credit plus the pre-order bonus. I mean, all that matters is GameStop going out of business. They still don't even price match. They don't even price match. That's still unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, if they want to survive, they really need to change their game plan because this trying to rip off the consumers as much as possible is not going to work for them.
ThinkGeek.
What's that?
They bought ThinkGeek.
What's that?
They're going to sell swag now. You go into GameStop and they have all the backpacks and vinyl figures and
Yeah.
toys and crap that's not game related, I'm pretty sure that's Think Geek. Or I don't know, it's random video game crap you could spend money on. That's not actually.
I mean,
And they're a publisher now.
yeah, for
Yeah, I
that
saw
one
that.
game. Like they're publishing.
It's
now.
weird.
They said, "Oh no, we're not a publisher." Yeah, I don't know what's weirder, them publishing that game or Facebook buying Oculus. Like, I still don't understand that one, but whatever. But we probably have Facebook to thank for the $600 price tag, which is insane. The dev kits were $300 for that thing. $300, and then the retail is going to be $600, and it's barely any different at all. It's basically the same hardware and tech. It's just they're charging double.
Well, the dev kits weren't in Time magazine. Now everyone knows about it.
That's a good point. But yeah, we went on a nice little tangent there. This week we want to discuss games that have had a profound effect on our lives. I don't have a ton, but first thing that comes to mind is definitely Gran Turismo. Like it's basically the reason why I'm such a gamer now. Like I didn't play much games at all for PS2 except Gran Turismo 3 a bit and 4. But like I got Gran Turismo on the PSP in 2009 when I got my PSP, like around the same time, and I just got so much into it and got so into cars as well. Like I'd always kind of been into cars, but it just made me more into it. And it's like I started watching Top Gear, and it's just like it. I also started watching more Formula One, which I did watch when I was a kid, but kind of stopped. But it's like it got me back into a bunch of things that I wasn't into, and now I'm doing a video game podcast. Like that's how much more into video games I am into than I used to be because of Gran Turismo. Like Gran Turismo 5 was basically the reason I got a PS3 in 2010. So I'd say like that's probably had the biggest effect and influence on my life as far as gaming goes, and also in general, sort of, because it has like made me much more interested in motorsports and like cars and Top Gear, Jay Leno's Garage. So yeah, that's the first one that comes to my mind. I'm sure you guys got some. Brian, you want to go next?
Yeah. I'll go a little more chronologically versus the biggest one. And for me, I mean, similar to Gran Turismo for you, the reason I'm a gamer today is thanks to Zelda and Mario, specifically Zelda. I really, I mean, I've played games before on Nintendo. I remember having a brick Game Boy. I don't remember any of those games. I have the most incredibly fond memories of my Super Nintendo playing Super Mario World, playing A Link to the Past, and some other games on Super Nintendo, Mega Man, some RPGs like Final Fantasy 2, 3/4, 6. But the latter two I especially don't remember. I'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, those two properties have such a special meaning to me that they're the reason I bought a Wii U. They're the reason I bought a GameCube, a Wii, all these Nintendo platforms. I keep buying because I want to play the next Zelda, the next Mario. I mean, just my love of video games. I have so many fond memories playing Mario 64 Ocarina of Time for the first time, playing, being blown away by the Galaxy games on Wii, and that wasn't even that long ago. Majora's Mask, getting freaked out by it when I was younger because it's a dark departure from everything before that. Those two properties will always be immensely important to me. I mean, if they announce, hey, Zelda Wii U is actually also an NX game. Oh, NX is also launching with Smash Brothers. Oh, NX is also launching with a new Mario game. That's it. I'm putting down however much money I need. I'm buying it day one. So, yeah, those are probably the two earliest and almost most important. What about you, Steve? What's most important to you?
All right, so there's two main ones that have had big influences on my life. One is because just my life as a gamer. The other one is just life in general and just kind of leveling me out in a tough time. So the first one was Final Fantasy VII. That really, and I think we've talked about this before on the show, but it really taught me to expand my horizons with games. Before that, I was basically just, Super Mario, basically the mainstream stuff, what all my friends played, GoldenEye, Mario Party, Mario Kart, the stuff all your friends played, and you just were basically playing because that's what everyone did, You weren't really trying stuff for the narrative. You weren't really trying stuff to, have a cool experience, something you can't really experience anywhere else. But then I played that, and I probably would never have played games like The Elder Scrolls, Mass Effect, even maybe Star Wars: The Knights of the Old Republic, games like that if I hadn't played Final Fantasy VII first. And it really is what made me kind of such a gamer, and I'm willing to try literally anything just to see what it's like. If other people like it, there's a good chance I'll like it too. So I'm sure you guys basically have similar stories to that. Brian, were you Final Fantasy VII? Was that one of your big turning points?
That was on my list. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII is one of those games as well where, like I mentioned before, I played 2 or 4 and 3 or 6. Been translating, skipping over American localizing bullshit. Anyways, I was really young though, and I didn't quite understand RPG mechanics, so they were really hard. And I just didn't get it, and I didn't understand why I would always die. But Final Fantasy VII was the one that kind of matured me enough to, I beat it. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I figured it out, and that's what helped me go back and play those games. Final Fantasy IV is one of my favorite games of all time now. But Final Fantasy, if it wasn't for Final Fantasy VII, as much as I love it, as much as I think it's a little bit overrated, I still think it's incredibly important to video games overall. Yeah, it's definitely one of my most important games as well, because RPGs are my favorite genre to this day, I think. And it wouldn't be that way if it wasn't for that game.
It's kind of interesting, thinking back, so many people in our age group have that same type of experience with that game. And I really wonder, if there would have been another game that transformed, regular game players into gamers if it wasn't for Final Fantasy VII. Because it seems like basically a big chunk of a generation was kind of their horizon just totally expanded with that one game. What would have happened without that game? It's so crazy to think.
Right place, right time, new hardware, 3D, CG cutscenes, fairly mature story, and just, I don't know. I don't remember when Gran Turismo came out, because I know that was a multi-disc game, but Final Fantasy VII was the first to come out that was multiple discs, and I was blown away at how huge that must have, how huge the game must have been as a result of that. But yeah, that's definitely one of those right place, right time kind of games.
I think actually only Gran Turismo 2 had multi-discs. Pretty sure 1 only had a single one, but I actually never played Gran Turismo 1, believe it or not. It's kind of funny, but the original one. I did actually get Gran Turismo 2 like maybe a couple years ago, just because I wanted to try it. Because like I never had a PS1, so I didn't actually, there's a lot of stuff I missed out on, including Final Fantasy VII. This was like I could be joining in with you guys on that discussion if it weren't for that. But yeah, I don't know. I want to play Final Fantasy VII badly. I just need to start hammering away at it at some point. Like, because I did like the bit that I did play at the beginning. But Steve, you actually reminded me of a few things that I could add. Like you mentioned, games helping you through tough times, and like just getting the PS3 in general, and the PSP as well, was definitely one of those cases, and probably one of the reasons I got so into video games. Because I was going through some shit back then, and like gaming really helped me not focus on it, and like just have happiness in like. I'm pretty much always happy just because like I don't have a ton of stress, and like it's very easy to relieve stress by just going home and playing some video games, and like I've made quite a lot of friends with video games aside from just in regular life, so it's like it is definitely a very positive thing in my life for sure. But aside from Gran Turismo, like because you mentioned games having narratives and stories, I have to point to Resistance Retribution as the game that like first made me realize that games are kind of changing, because like when I was younger there weren't a whole lot of games that have like great narratives and stuff. Like I played Zelda Ocarina of Time, which did have like a cool story and stuff, but it wasn't like really the focus. And plus the fact that it didn't have voice actors kind of it didn't like make me want to play more and more games the way that the Resistance series did, because Resistance Retribution, that was like the first like I'd say AAA narrative based game that I played on PSP. And then when I got PS3, one of the first 3 games I got was Resistance Fallen Man, which also very narrative focused. And it's like I just really, really enjoyed the fact that games were no longer just go around, shoot this guy. Like, it also had a very cool story to go along with it, especially in Resistance case. So it's like that's another reason that I got way into gaming. It had an effect on me that way, like the way I looked at games. But also PS Plus definitely had a huge effect on the way I looked at games. Like, it definitely broadened my horizons big time, because when I first got a PS3, like I pretty much was only ever interested in AAA games, like mainstream stuff. But PS Plus got me into quite a bit more games, and it's like now I play all kinds of different stuff. But also, like, just to add with Gran Turismo is the reason why like I also got a steering wheel. It actually, like, I have to credit the steering wheel as part of the reasons why I got so into Gran Turismo, although not on the PSP. But like it just transforms the experience in such a way that like you can't even really put it to words. Like, you just kind of have to experience it. But it makes racing games just so much better, like infinitely better. And it's one of the big reasons why like pretty much the genre I'm into the most, other than just like action adventure and shooters, well, actually probably the most period, is simulation, like simulation racing games. I'm just hugely into them because of Gran Turismo, and especially the steering wheel, because it's just so much fun. Like, when I first got PS4, like I wasn't playing anywhere near as many racing games as I used to. Like, typically, like I used to play at least half, if not more than half of my time spent playing games was on simulation racing games. When PS4 came out, it didn't support the steering wheel I had, so it wasn't till I think it was earlier last year that I finally got a steering wheel. And since then, like, it's like I've pretty much got back to my old ways of playing mostly simulation racing games. It's just like Gran Turismo has a huge effect on me as a gamer, and just gaming in general has a profound effect on my life. So, like, I just wanted to add that. I'll let one of you guys go next. I think it's your turn now, Brian. You want to go ahead?
The next game for me is probably. Well, this is going to be a bit of a multi-part answer. I'll finish it later. But the Metal Gear series, wildly important
that's
to
a
me.
big one for me too.
Even though I played Final Fantasy before, just something about the presentation story really impacted me. The first Metal Gear on PlayStation.
Yep.
Also, part of
So
it
good.
was my older cousin introduced it to me, and I always looked up to him as a brother type figure. So that also made it extra important. And I remember playing it. I remember being blown away. I still fondly remember Sniper Wolf fight and Ray Fox and Metal Gear Rex and just Shadow Moses in general. Just so much of the game is still so vivid in my mind. And then that continued with the second game. I can remember playing the demo for Metal Gear Solid 2 over and over on the tank. Just the tanker part. Oh, so good. And then the whole James Bond Snake Eater inspiration followed by just camouflage in the jungle, and it being so much simpler was just also so incredible. And so I just have such amazing memories of the entire Metal Gear Solid series, and that's a little bittersweet knowing that it's basically over. I mean, whether they make a Metal Gear Solid 6 or not is irrelevant.
Kojima.
Metal Gear Solid is over without Kojima.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Metal Gear is a huge one for me too. I'm a massive fan of it, although my memories are much more recent because I didn't actually play Metal Gear until early 2014. I mean, I played a little bit of 2 on PS2, but I was a very different gamer then, and I got to the first boss. What's her name? Natalia? Or the chick with the short hair? Russian girl? Yeah. I don't know, it's not a...
Olga.
Oh, Olga. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. Natalia, what am I thinking? I got to that and kind of gave up because it's I was really just not that was the first stealth game I'd really played, so I kind of gave up there. But also I didn't like the camera perspective because like I said, I was very different back then. And it's I didn't play a whole lot of games, but yeah, I absolutely loved the series so much, and it's there are I don't get emotional about really anything, but there's several points in that series where it's I got emotional playing it. It's just so epic and awesome. It's impossible not to get invested in those characters. I mean, especially Snake, Solid Snake. It's that's why it was such a bummer to me that they replaced David Hayter for Metal Gear Solid 5. Although I love Metal Gear Solid 5. I said many times that I thought it was by far the best game last year and the best game of this generation. But yeah, no, I'm totally with you on Metal Gear. I love it. I love the story, the overall story, and especially the stories of 1, the first one, 3, and 4. Just such amazing stories. 5 I mainly love for gameplay, although it's I don't think the story was bad. It's just it's not as incredibly epic as 1. And it's it always kind of pained me that people kind of made fun of the stories of Metal Gear, because that's why I love it. You know what I mean? And it's so. Although sometimes people make good points about it, the story, but that's the reason I love Metal Gear. I didn't really fall in love with the gameplay until 5. But the stories are just so epic. And the presentation. I mean, it's it's incredible going back to Metal Gear Solid 1 and looking at how cinematic and how deep the story is, and just how well done all the cutscenes and even just the Kodak calls. It's it's pretty staggering how far ahead of its time it was, and it's why it's in my top 5 or best games of all times. But although I'm more, I only played the series more recently. I've played it twice so far, and I'm not done with it. I'm definitely gonna play it a few more times, especially because I have most of the games on my Vita, aside from 4 and 5, obviously. But yeah, no, I love that series, so I'm totally with you on that one. But Yeah. Were you done with that one, Brian? Or you want to hand it off to Steve? Or
Yeah, Steven could go. I have a little more to say, but I'll say it.
All right. I only had one more, and that was SOCOM Confrontation. It was definitely one of the lesser of the SOCOM games, but I was really good at it. It came out a little bit toward the end of my college, and then I played it into my post-college life, which it took me about 8 or 9 months to find like a decent job. So like during that time, like it's kind of like tough when you're not like finding a job because you can't. You can apply to a billion places, but I mean, you're not obviously gonna take any of those jobs, you know. And you're not able to really interview like all the time. You're not able to like update your resume all the time. So there's so much downtime, you know, when you're looking for work. And I spent a lot of it at like late at night playing SOCOM Confrontation. And then even after I got a job, my first job was on night shift. So I would still play Confrontation all through the night on my days off because I couldn't help but stay up all night. You know, that was just the way I lived at that point. So the clan and all the friendships I made, some of the guys I actually still even keep in touch with today, that really helped me in a time when especially when I went on night shift, I kind of lost a lot of friendships because you don't see those people anymore. And kind of maintaining friends through all that kind of tough time really like it kept gaming to be such like an important part of my life, even when things got really tough for me.
yeah, yeah. No, the multiplayer can definitely have a big effect on your relationships with other people, and it's I mean, it's cool. It's just like one extra thing you can do with your friends without actually being with them.
And like I said, it's definitely not the best SOCOM game out there, but for whatever reason, I ended up being really good at it. So I found it really enjoyable, especially because the group of guys I played with were all pretty good as well.
Nice. I guess so. I guess I'll go again. The one other, well, maybe not the only one. I might remember something else, but I would like to add like Assassin's Creed. I don't know if it's like had a profound effect on my life, but like it's definitely one of those series like Metal Gear where I just absolutely adored the series, like in the story, and I don't think I'll ever forget it. Like I'd say the same about The Last of Us. It's like I think The Last of Us is a story that is gonna stick with me to the grave. Like just such a brilliant story. But it's like I really, really loved Assassin's Creed. Similar to Metal Gear, I played it the entire series. Well, at least up to that point, because it was only up to 3 at that point. Like I played the whole series and just loved all of it. Like I just thought the story was so cool, and it's like there's just some epic moments, and it's like it literally depresses me knowing that they've pretty much abandoned the story that I loved in that series. Like, and it's just a bummer. Like even just every time, like my friend, because my friend still plays Assassin's Creed and he's always trying to tell me about it. It's just like I just don't even want to hear about it, just because of how disappointed I am in the fact that they just totally changed direction. But yeah, like I'd say that and Last of Us are probably the last 2 examples I have. I'd say, and Last of Us is like one of my favorite games, and like it's definitely. Like I don't think I'm ever gonna forget it. Like which is why like it's such a good game, you know, all around. But the story was definitely like it's hard not to be like impacted by it. Like I don't imagine a day I'd ever forget Ellie. You know what I mean? Like even 50 years from now when I'm like, you know, hella old. You know what I mean? Like it's just one of those games. But yeah, Brian, I'm sure you got some more. Want to go ahead?
Yeah. Actually, the next one is probably the biggest one for me personally. It's unbelievably important to me and how much it's actually impacted my life, and that is actually World of Warcraft. For a number of reasons. I remember when it came out in '04, and me and my friends would, go into school the next day and talk about it, and talk about what we saw, trade gold for lunches or breakfast and random stuff like that. And it was especially impactful because we were about to graduate, so it was kind of like a way to kind of stay together in a way as we each went our separate ways the year after. I made a ton of friends, just like you mentioned with SOCOM Steven, that to this day I still talk to some of them and play games with some of them. And then, of course, most importantly, it's actually how I met my wife, playing World of Warcraft. She played as well, and that was about 9 years ago. So,
Well, that's about as good a relationship as you can make with games.
yeah. So I mean, did the long thing for a while. Moved in 5 years ago now, and about 6.5 months ago had a baby. So if it wasn't for World of Warcraft, I wouldn't have a life. Probably I wouldn't have the son I have now. So it really doesn't get too much more.
Yeah,
of an impact than
that's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah, it's actually been about 9 years with my wife since a couple of days ago now.
Yeah, no, that's a big one. And it makes sense that you were the one to come up with the topic. I mean, you have a great reason to.
Well, I came up with the topic actually because I read something with Kotaku about someone who was born with cerebral palsy and how Pokemon helped them cope, and learn to get over his disability and rise above it and stuff like that. And I thought about that, and I mean, it's not me overcoming a disability, but it's still something incredibly life changing. So yeah, that's the big reason I came up with that.
Oh wow, yeah. Like I think. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, that's basically it. I have a couple more little short ones.
I was just gonna say, like, I think
What do you
I
have
don't
next?
have any more games. I was just gonna say, I think like a lot of people forget like how many handicapped people actually do play video games. Like, and it really helps out like people like that are either stuck in a house or like, and it's like to me, like, if you're stuck in a house, there's no better way to entertain yourself. Because it's like there's only so many TV shows and movies you can watch, or like other things you can do if you're limited like that. So it's like I think gaming's like probably have a extremely profound effect on people that are handicapped and stuff like that. They can't do too much, but they can play. Like, I mean, that's another reason why PlayStation adding those accessibility options, like the ability to change buttons, is so cool, because like there are certain people that need certain control schemes just to be able to play it all. Like I think Call of Duty has famously had, like, well, not famously, but at least I've noticed that like they've had certain control schemes that are made specifically for certain players that were handicapped that they knew about, and it's like they put them in there specifically for those people. It's just super cool. Also, like, gaming is good for people that are on house arrest. Like I had a friend, he was on house arrest, and it's actually most of the time I played Xbox 360. Most of the time I've spent playing on that system, and just like when I was getting into Call of Duty or learning it and stuff, was with him because he was on house arrest. So it's like gaming can have a huge effect on a lot of people's lives, just beyond like people like us that just do it because it's fun and they will like it. And it leads to great things, as you have just told us about, Brian. Sorry, go. You can go ahead. You got a couple more you want to share?
Yeah, but also just in another quick memory that kind of goes hand in hand with what we were just talking about handicapped people playing games. My older cousin, who got me to Solid originally, was also had cerebral palsy, and he had surgery on his legs 20, almost 20 years ago, something like that. And so he was basically bedridden, and me and him would hang out all the time. We couldn't really do much but play video games. And thankfully, it was very shortly after the N64 release, we played a lot of Mario, especially the last 4. And it might have been another game, some kind of fighting game like that, but definitely the last 4 very well. And of course, GoldenEye.
Yeah.
They came out, but yeah, the last 2 I have are just kind of going more honorable mentions. What I was talking about with The Last of Us impacted me a little bit differently. I thought it was an amazing story as well, but I played it a few years ago, and we were going to have a kid soon. After we were able to move, finally, we knew we were going to move and deal with any of that while moving. So we waited until we moved. But just before we did, The Last of Us came out, and I very, very clearly remember playing through the story and thinking to myself, well, that's really violent, and I don't know about the whole zombie apocalypse thing. But, I really understood where he was coming from with that fatherly instinct.
Yeah.
And, that's kind of been reinforced a little bit now that I have a child, where, it makes total sense now.
Yeah.
By the end of the game. Would I murder a hospital full of people? Probably. It never comes to that, but I get it. I get it now. So, honorable mention. But also, since Metal Gear Solid was one of my earliest memories, I guess it's kind of great that it comes full circle and has all these little moments throughout my life. I very fondly remember Metal Gear Solid 4 coming out when I was in college. One of my best friends from college being a huge Metal Gear Solid fan as well, and just sat there and played Metal Gear Solid. Spoilers for a 7-year-old game, but when we first went back to Shadow Moses, we freaked out. I mean, it was incredible. I remember a lot of shrieking, and there might have been someone crying. We were intoxicated, definitely, but it's one of those things where it just keeps coming up in my life and impacting me in some way or another. Most importantly, probably, is Metal Gear Solid 5. I will forever link it to the birth of my son, because he was born about 5 days before the game came out. So, we came home from the hospital, and 2 days later I got the game. And both me and my wife associate Quiet's theme for humming with him for some reason. So, that's another little thing. And of course, just, the pictures on Facebook of him sleeping on me while I'm holding a PlayStation controller, and I'm playing Metal Gear Solid 5. So, that's, really special as well, coming full circle, like I said. And also, I forgot The Last of Us helped inspire his name. His name is Joel.
Oh, yeah.
I came up with that thanks to that game. And I'm still trying to chip away at it, but as of right now, she doesn't want it. But if we ever have a girl,
That's awesome.
For very similar reasons. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Robin Williams named his daughter Zelda. I heard another really cool example.
After the games.
Parents naming their kids after games or something. I can't remember, but yeah. Got anything else to add?
Well, there's Dovahkiin. Well, there's the parents that named their kid Dovahkiin after Dragonborn and Skyrim around the time that was happening.
Oh. Yeah, I can't remember.
Wasn't there a contest or something?
I don't know. I
It was like free
Vaguely
Bethesda
remember.
games for life if like you were entered and allow you for free Bethesda games for life if you named your child Dovahkiin.
I don't remember if it was a contest or not, but I do remember reading something about those parents. Maybe because they named their kid after, Dragonborn, they get free Bethesda games. I don't remember exactly how it went, but it was something like that, yeah. See, we briefly considered something crazy like that, but, the kid has to go to school at some point, so we didn't want to make it terrible. Joel is video game related, but still based on an actual name someone would name their child.
Right.
Yeah, so
I wouldn't name my kid Dovahkiin. And technically, The Legend of Zelda is named after F. Scott Fitzgerald's wife, whose name was Zelda, and that predates the game by about 8 years.
yeah, it's definitely a real name, and I mean, plus it's definitely an understandable one. Like it's not like a super nerdy one like Dovahkiin would be. Like Zelda's pretty much a lot of people have played that, so it's like I think that would be definitely a great name, I'd say. But
I will make sure my wife listens to this podcast.
Hey,
And
Great.
hopefully she gets blown. She's not
it's
convinced yet.
got our recommendation. I don't know if that counts.
If anyone actually comments on these, comment, tell my wife, Zelda, daughters. Do it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Got anything else, or you guys want to wrap it up?
That's it for me.
Yep, I
Awesome.
think that's it for me.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody, and we will see you next time.